So yesterday was New Comic Book Day, and I got a stack of books. Let me show you what I got. Hi, this is James for Read More Comics. It's been a busy week. School just wrapped up today. This is Thursday, but I did make time to stop by my LCS. I find going on Wednesday, and I like being a Wednesday warrior because there's an energy in the store. There's a lot of people there. They're excited about books, and it's kind of cool to see what people are picking up. How all the at my LCS Buy Me Toys, they have kind of one long shelf with multiple tiers. And, they have all the Marvel books, DC books, indie books, and it's just interesting to see what people have been picking up, knowing that the proprietors of Buy Me Toys, they do a nice job ordering. They make sure there is stock there. So let's go ahead and dive in. First one, and I've been very wary of avoiding spoilers for this. So we got Batman number 10 by Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez. As I've mentioned in the past, I've been pulling the A covers. I think I'm weaning myself off of variant covers, where when I first got into collecting, and I have some, I ended up getting more premium variants because of FOMO or whatever, or, on the social media group I belong to, the Facebook group, other people were, and I really just like the A cover trade dress. I do like what DC does with their variant covers, but sometimes it doesn't pull in, and the fact that Jimenez is also doing the interior work and the cover work, I think is a bonus. It gives, I don't know if it necessarily connects the cover to the story, but there's a consistency in the art from the cover to the story, if that makes sense. Anyway, low-key, an amazing Batman story. Matt Fraction's been doing an awesome job, and from issue 1 on this volume, Jorge Jimenez's art has risen a level, which was pretty incredible because he was great on the last volume. But there's almost an experimentation quality in how he's designing panel arrangements, how he's using space and colors and things like that I didn't feel was in the last volume. The last volume, it was good. The writing was good. He was an incredible artist then, but it was just a Batman book, and this seems much, much better than that. So, awesome. And this is my first Marvel book of the stack, and I'm going to preface this. I ended up getting the A cover for this too, but I was on the fence of getting a variant cover. They had a variant, and unless it's a ratio, variants, I think for Marvel, because it's not cardstock, they go for the same price. There was a variant that was awesome looking, and I almost grabbed it instead. But then I looked at it and went, well, when I show you the cover, this is the first appearance of, Caesar Reed Richards. So we got Fantastic Four. This is issue number 12 of the current volume. I just liked kind of the composition, the subject, and the use of shadowing on this. Let's see, this Humberto Ramos. I'm a couple issues behind on this, but I imagine I'll be reading it over the weekend. It's been a fun read. Ryan North's definitely telling a different type of story. This time around, there's a more of interconnectedness, where in his last volume before One World Under Doom, every issue was a standalone issue, standalone story, very kind of Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, 1960s Fantastic Four, where this isn't that way at all. That there is more of a arc that we didn't see before. We have issue number 5 of Godzilla Infinity Roar. I did get a variant on this one. I haven't read the mini. I've just been waiting until they all come out. But I love what Marvel has done. Like this book and like the seeding books before it. So we had Godzilla versus Marvel, or Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe, or something like that. And then all those standalone issues. it has been a really fun Godzilla story. And I think the writers have been doing an awesome job not emphasizing their characters, like Marvel characters. Let me see who's writing this. So, Challenges of Doom. Yeah. I'm just looking for that title page. Oh, here we go. So there's the title splash page. This is written by Jerry Duggan. This is, I'm not sure who the, is this Mark Brooks? I don't know. Anyway, what I've enjoyed about this series is, and I think in DC had a crossover with the MonsterVerse Godzilla and all the other Titans. One of the struggles they had there was finding that balance between their characters, their IP, and Godzilla and friends. And I think Marvel has threaded that needle better in that they've recognized that Godzilla has to kind of win, but you need to tell a story where their characters don't lose. And so, like, Godzilla versus the Marvel Universe, they did that. You know, Godzilla didn't lose. He didn't win either, you know. But they told a compelling story to get there, which I know something, without going into, like, is Marvel, what's going on with Marvel? Marvel has kind of struggled with in some of the books, but this hasn't been one of them. So I recommend all the Godzilla Marvel books that have come out in the last, what is it? It started last year, so the last year or so. Probably get them in trade. This is another book I'm waiting on. This is Lucky Devils by Charles Brown and, I'm sorry, Charlie Brown. Charles Soule and Ryan Brown. This is issue number 8. We got one more issue. I've mentioned it before. I'm waiting until the last issue comes out because of, and no one's to blame. You know, Ryan Brown had a serious health issue that put his life as the priority. So I've just been waiting to read this. I think it has one more issue left. It's a 9-issue maxi miniseries, whatever. Got Poison Ivy issue number 45. This is the Nobovich. No, this is Vincent Carbonilla variant. I like how the cover shows Poison Ivy as a politician, as a business person, which is kind of an evolution since she's become mayor of Gotham. This has been a really fun read. The last couple issues have been good, okay? And it's supposed to be building up to the crossover with Matt Fraction's Batman, a little mini-series. I don't remember what it is, like Bad Seed or some Gotham Bad Seed or something like that. It's supposed to be coming out in the fall. There was another cover I thought about getting where it showed Poison Ivy and she was silhouetted with skulls, and it looked cool on the web, but when I saw it in the store, this was the better cover. That was a Nobovich cover, I think. This one's been a while. We got Rook Exodus issue number 10. This is Jeff Johns, Jason Fabok, Brad Anderson, Rob Lay, and this is the Fabok kind of helmet variant. And it's funny, I was flipping through all the old issues of Rook. There's like one issue where they didn't do this as a variant, and it's weird, it sticks out. It's like every other issue they have a cool variant like this, and I like these, so I've been getting it. This has been kind of a fun read. It's very Borderlands-esque. If you play the video game Borderlands 2, there's some, it reminds me of kind of that energy, except, you know, it's not this barren wasteland with all these gang punks. You know, it's not like that. It's not like Mad Max or anything like that. But it's definitely a dystopia, you know, other planet, kind of like Pandora is. And they're doing seasons, so I think this season's supposed to be wrapping up soon. This one's a one-shot. We got Star Wars Rogue One, Jyn Erso. I'm pulling all the A covers on this because of how they're formatting, where they're kind of doing a silhouette of the character, and it's just gorgeous. The last one was the spy, the intelligence guy. I'm drawing a blank. It's been a long week. Um, but these one shots, they're celebrating the 20th anniversary, 10th anniversary. I can't believe it's been 10 years since Rogue One came out. In my opinion, best Star Wars movie ever, because they tell a story, everybody dies. They're not going to do a sequel to milk more money out of us. There's a lot of integrity in that story. Well, the first issue, is the first one shot, because they're doing a one shot for all the characters. Okay, the first one shot, it was just doing a little backstory thing, filling out a detail. It's kind of like, Rogue One is filling out that detail from episode 4, where Mon Mothma's talking about that these plans came at a great cost. And so they're kind of peeling that away. And in the first one shot, it's like, hey, here's this character, and he was going to go to this planet, and he was going to meet this guy. Well, here's the backstory to that, and it was a nice read. So I have high hopes for this, and what it's helping me appreciate again is that Marvel can tell good Star Wars stories if they have a structure to it, if they have kind of a vision of it. The last volume of Star Wars, that was volume 4, it was 10 issues. It really wasn't that good, and it was because no one had a vision. And I think part of the issue is Disney / Lucasfilms, whoever, if it was Kathleen Kennedy or whoever, is kind of hamstringing, pigeonholing Star Wars stories. But there are nuances. There are these little places where they can tell a compelling story, and it's in the Star Wars universe. And I think it's better if they get away from anybody with the last name Skywalker or Solo. Just my opinion. And this, I'm hopeful this continues that trend where it's a good story, it's a one shot, one and done. Anyway, last, and I need to give some context for this. Because I am not big into this, I picked up Spawn issue 376. It's the A cover. I did this because Matt Rosenberg is taking over for the title, and I really like Matt Rosenberg as a writer. I just read If Destruction Be Our Lot, based on an interview he did on Off Panel with David Harper, and I've listened to his podcast. I've read some of the stuff he did for DC. His Joker books were really fun, and he got like who Joker was, like telling a compelling story without like it going off the rails or sounding trite. And so I listened to him in this interview he did on his own podcast where he was talking about taking over Spawn and how he got there. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give this a shot. I haven't read Spawn in a long time. I picked up a copy of Spawn Resurrection. Was that like 10 years ago? That was a really good read, with Al Simmons coming back. And I picked up a couple issues of the run right after that. John Boy Myers was doing the art, and it wasn't Todd McFarlane. It was someone else doing the writing. And I'm drawing a blank on who it is. I'll put it right down here. And I liked it. It was good. And then Todd McFarlane took back over for whatever reason, and I didn't like it then. The art changed, the story changed. One of my earliest collecting goals was going for Spawn from 1 to 100, and I after the fact I've heard this is what a lot of people do, and it's really easy to do because there's like for the first 20 or so, there's like 1 million copies out there. It's easy to find. And I'm down to just a handful, and it's near the tail end where they become a little bit more difficult to find in the wild, and they're not salty like some of those. I think it's in the going into the 150s and early 200s where they had really low print runs, and so finding back issues, is $20-30 a book, even though nothing important happened, because they're just really not there. Anyway, I listened to Matt Rosenberg talk about Spawn, and I went, he is a really good writer, and I'm gonna give this book a shot, and I'm gonna just get his run. Now, what I've heard, I actually need to get issue 375, so I might make a special field trip. Tomorrow I have a half day, run over in my LCS, find 375, because there he begins like setting the stage in. He has a backup story, and Todd's doing the main story. I'm not interested in Todd's run, except what I've been collecting, and a lot of that's because of Greg Capullo. He's just amazing in that. This art is really good. I flipped through the book. Now my LCS doesn't really like it when people do that. But I flipped through the book, and the art was kind of good. It's a little different. It's different from, and the artist is Steven Segovia. It's not like Greg Capullo Spawn or early Todd McFarlane Spawn. So that'll be interesting. So I might end up subbing to Spawn, at least for a while, as long as Matt Rosenberg is doing it. It's King Spawn is supposed to connect to this somehow. I have no interest in King Spawn, so I'm hoping that this story is compartmentalized enough where I can just read Spawn and I can enjoy it. Okay, so those are my polls. Thank you for listening to me ramble on. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below, hit the bell in the corner so you know when I post new content. If you have any feelings towards Spawn or any of the other books I picked up, please feel free to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about my polls. Thanks for listening, and don't forget, life is so much better when we read more comics.